Hello, this is Craig with RedChip Companies. Thank you for joining today's event with bioAffinity Technologies, which trades on the Nasdaq under the ticker BIAF. With us today, we have Maria Zanes, President and Chief Executive Officer of bioAffinity. We will begin with a brief presentation in a moment, and then Maria will answer your questions. Users may submit a question at any time by pushing the Q&A button at the bottom of the Zoom window. Before we begin, please allow me to read the Safe Harbor Statement. This call may contain forward-looking statements within the meaning of the Private Securities Litigation Reform Act of 1995. All statements pertaining to future financial and/or operating results, along with other statements about the future expectations, beliefs, goals, plans, or prospects expressed by management, constitute forward-looking statements. Any statements that are not historical facts should also be considered forward-looking statements. Of course, forward-looking statements involve risks and uncertainties. I now turn this webinar over to Maria. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm excited to speak with you today and discuss our plans for 2025, as well as review the success bioAffinity Technologies has enjoyed this year. bioAffinity Technologies addresses the critical need for early detection of cancer, and more specifically, its deadliest form, which is lung cancer. An estimated 18 million people in the U.S. are at high risk for lung cancer. The European Union and Asia, which are other areas in which bioAffinity holds patents, they have an even greater number of people who can benefit from our products. For example, there are an estimated 300 million smokers in China alone. Across the globe, early detection of lung cancer is vital, and it leads to longer, healthier lives. Let me give you for a minute an example. In the US, the overall 5-year survival rate for lung cancer is 28%. This is in fact up from 26% estimated for last year. But if lung cancer is caught in stage 1 and treated, the 10-year survival rate jumps to greater than 90%. 90%. So our non-invasive reimbursed test to detect early stage lung cancer, a test we call CyPath Lung, has shown high accuracy in detecting lung cancer. Our initial product to detect lung cancer, the one I'll focus on today, has a large market. In the US alone, the lung cancer diagnostic market in 2024 was estimated at $4 billion, and it's expected to reach more than $7 billion by 2030. I also want to emphasize, however, that we have a platform technology, and we are developing tests for the diagnosis of other lung diseases, such as chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. It's more commonly called COPD. And that affects an estimated 14 million Americans and has a similarly large diagnostic market globally. We count many successes in 2024 in this past year, including obtaining reimbursement for CyPath Lung, expanding our sales team with experienced salespeople who know the pulmonary market, obtaining access to the federal healthcare system, and streamlining operations. The acquisition of Precision Pathology Services in 2023 gave us control over lab operations and 100% of CyPath revenues. The work we have done in 2024 has given us the capacity, the capability, and the experience to expand operations to meet the growing demand for CyPath Lung as we strategically grow our sales efforts into other targeted areas in 2025. This year's sales of CyPath Lung has shown that a growing number of physicians are recognizing the benefit. In 2024, we've had a record year in sales, and we look forward to continuing with record growth in 2025. This year, our wholly owned subsidiary, Precision Pathology Laboratory Services, is on track to report revenue of $9.4 million in 2024, more than 20% growth in annualized revenue compared to 2023 after accounting for the acquisition of Precision in September of 2023. The increase in revenue reflects greater than 1,700% increase in sales of CyPath Lung through November 30th over the same period last year. Looking to 2025, we will take advantage of our success this year in getting listed on the federal supply schedule and making CyPath Lung now available to our veterans and active military across the country. We are focused on key VA medical centers that screen, diagnose, and treat lung cancer. These 132 designated cancer centers across the U.S. have teams of pathologists, pulmonologists, and oncologists who can see the benefit of CyPath Lung for their patients. And I have to add, there are many benefits to CyPath Lung. CyPath Lung is patient-friendly, and it is very physician-focused. It's a test that provides for at-home collection, meaning there's no blood and no needles. Results are provided to physicians 2 to 3 days after a sample arrives at the lab. CyPath Lung is particularly good at detecting cancer or determining cancer is not present in people with small lung nodules, less than 2 centimeters or less than 20 millimeters. The result of our clinical trial, which was published in the peer-reviewed journal Respiratory Research, reported that our test had a 92% sensitivity, which is the ability of a test to detect a true positive, and an 87% specificity, which is the ability of a test to detect a true negative. The results also showed a 99% negative predictive value for the test when used with individuals with pulmonary nodules less than 2 centimeters. CyPath Lung differentiates patients with cancer from those who are cancer-free using a technology called flow cytometry, which looks at populations of whole cells in a sputum sample that comes from the lung, and then analyzes the data with our proprietary algorithm we built using machine learning. Machine learning is a form of AI that resulted for us in standardizing results and in high performance. Simply put, CyPath Lung analyzes the cell populations in the lung microenvironment to determine if there is a malignancy present. Physicians tell us CyPath Lung is helpful with patients with small pulmonary nodules. These patients are often asked to just wait and see if the nodule that they find is going to grow. Or sometimes a physician may opt for a more invasive biopsy only to find that the nodule is benign. The uncertainty is stressful for both the physician and the patient, as you can imagine. CyPath Lung does not replace the tools a physician uses to find early cancer. It enhances and it adds to the toolbox and can bring more clarity on next steps for both physicians and their patients. Physicians are also very well aware of the cost to patients and the financial burden to healthcare of lung cancer. And in 2024, this year, we saw that CyPath Lung has the potential to make a significant positive difference. Earlier this year, 2 physicians published their findings after analyzing the impact that the use of CyPath Lung could have on the healthcare costs in this country. In their analysis, Dr. Michael Morris and Dr. Sheila Habib assumed that CyPath was part of the standard of care in 2022 for patients with small pulmonary nodules. They considered the cost of follow-up based on published data and the savings that would be found in adding CyPath Lung to the care pathway for patients on Medicare, and separately, they looked at the impact using CyPath Lung as part of the diagnostic pathway for patients with small pulmonary nodules who had private insurance. The results showed considerable savings. For Medicare patients, using CyPath would have resulted in savings of more than $2,700 per Medicare patient, or nearly $370 million in total savings in 2022 to the U.S. healthcare system. And for those patients covered by private insurance, the study reported a savings of more than $6,400 per patient. That would have resulted in nearly $900 million in total savings to the healthcare system if our test had been used with patients in 2022 who had pulmonary nodules between 6 millimeters to less than 30 millimeters. Let me take one moment to tell you about the authors of this study. Dr. Michael J. Morris is with the Brooke Army Medical Center, the country's largest U.S. military hospital, excuse me. He is a pulmonology and critical care physician, and he is the Assistant Dean of Research at the San Antonio Uniformed Services Health Education Consortium. Dr. Sheila A. Habib is Director of the Pulmonary Lung Nodule Clinic and the Lung Cancer Screening Program at the South Texas Veterans Healthcare System's Audie Murphy Memorial Veterans Hospital. This is one of our nation's largest VA hospital systems. These are physicians who recognize the importance of CyPath, and there are a growing number of physicians who similarly see the benefit in using our non-invasive test. In 2025, we will work with these physicians who are advocating on our behalf, and we will take what we have learned and how we have improved the physician and patient journey, and we will strategically expand our market. Some of our investors on the call will remember that we made a decision to launch CyPath Lung in a limited market. In our case, we chose to launch in Texas, our own backyard. And as you know, I say, this is a very big backyard. In fact, by our assessment, it is the 5th largest state in the US for pulmonary practices. This approach has been a good one because it's provided us with the ability to evaluate the market, to hone our messaging, to build a sales team, and to improve operations. 2025 will be an expansion year. We look not only to enter the VA and military market, but also to expand into key regions where we have existing practices who came to us largely by word of mouth from other physicians. There are ordering physicians in 15 states who learned about CyPath Lung from a colleague or from a patient. We believe those are the practice areas worth expanding. But of course, we won't forget Texas. It offers further opportunities for growth, both increased use of tests with our existing clients and increasing our customer base. And of course, we recognize that a larger market means a greater marketing effort. Marketing plays a critical role in sales. We established our brand with the help of Havas Health, and now we will be working with an equally well-respected, highly innovative marketing agency with an impressive pedigree in taking new products to market, particularly in the pulmonary space. In addition to increasing our sales team, in 2025, we look to hire a marketing director to add emphasis and to add the support needed to increase sales. In addition to expanding our sales efforts in 2025, we also expect to initiate our clinical study next year. We have reported that we intend to conduct a clinical trial that will be the basis for seeking clearance of CyPath Lung by the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA. We expect to begin this larger clinical trial in 2025, and towards that end, we met this month with the FDA to discuss our trial design and the test's intended use, among other topics. We were encouraged by the meeting, and we will continue to work with the agency, and we will move forward. As part of the clinical trial effort, the National Association of Veterans Research Foundation, it's called NAVREF, sent out a call for interest in our study to the VA, the entire VA research system. I'm proud to report that nearly 20 VA systems have responded so far, saying that they are interested in taking part in the study and are moving forward. These VA medical centers are in various stages of qualification, and it is important to understand that some may not be in the study for various reasons. But we are encouraged by the response of these physicians who treat our veterans and the veteran population, and they see the need to advance CyPath Lung. In addition to the VA, we also have a number of large private and academic medical centers that are in the process of being qualified as collection sites. Our national principal investigator for this trial is Dr. Michael Morris of Brooke Army Medical Hospital, the doctor who I mentioned earlier and the author of the study. We expect several active military hospitals will be part of the site collection network. And along with the VA and academic and private medical centers, it's just a very exciting time and a very busy time for the company. And quite frankly, a very rewarding time to see the interest and the enthusiasm for CyPath Lung. It may be helpful if just for a moment I step back to explain that CyPath Lung is, at this time, a laboratory-developed test. That means that CyPath Lung is sold by a single laboratory, in this case, our subsidiary Precision Pathology, and it is available only if ordered by a physician. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid oversee LDTs, laboratory-developed tests, like CyPath Lung. And a newly promulgated rule by the FDA results in FDA having greater jurisdictions over LDTs. But I would note that our CyPath Lung test is grandfathered under the new rule. And I'm explaining this because the rules governing laboratory tests certainly can be confusing. And I also want to make clear that we will continue to market CyPath Lung as we move through the FDA process. I'm hoping that this explanation is helpful. As proud as we are of our advancement of CyPath Lung, we are well aware that the potential for our flow cytometry-based technology. Our research team is led by Dr. William Bauta, who, during his time working for ILEX and Genzyme, played a key role in successfully bringing new medical products to market. We have decided in the near term to focus our research efforts in developing our test for COPD that would help identify patients early enough to take advantage of the new, very promising COPD therapies coming onto the market. In 2025, we also will build on our work with COPD and look at developing diagnostics for asthma. We view these tests, which are under development, as possible companion offerings with CyPath Lung, our test for early lung cancer, that is going to go to the pulmonary marketplace. bioAffinity Technologies was built on innovation, was built on a dedication and a belief that we can make a difference, both individually and collectively. We have a strong management team and a highly experienced board of directors who play a key role in our success. Our executive chairman, Steve Girgenti, is a veteran healthcare executive. He founded HealthWorld, which is a global healthcare marketing firm that, when he was running it, was one of the largest in the world. The chairman of our audit committee, Stuart Diamond, is the global chief financial officer of Group M, a media investment management group with over $60 billion in billings. Our director, Dr. Jamie Platt, has been guiding teams in developing, validating, and commercializing more than 40 innovative, high-complexity tests for the US and the global firms. She served as Chief Operating Officer at PGDx, which was acquired by LabCorp, and Inivata, which was acquired by NeoGenomics for a combined value of nearly $1 billion. Our management team is equally strong. Our CFO, Michael Edwards, guided us through the IPO and recently rejoined the company. He has 30+ years in corporate finance, including serving as CFO for both public and private companies. And I'm very proud to have him at my side. Our Chief Operating Officer, Xavier Reveles, brings more than 25 years of experience as a clinical geneticist, skilled in the creation and the management of CLIA clinical laboratories, in coding and in reimbursement. Our Chief Science Officer, who I mentioned, Bill Bauda, was responsible for the discovery, development, and the FDA approval of multiple products during his tenure at Genzyme and at ILEX, and has been the innovator and the inventor of several products for us. Our sales team is led by Dallas Coleman, who brings more than 15 years of experience in medical sales, where he succeeded in launching new products for Olympus American's Therapeutic Solutions division. He worked primarily with pulmonologists, thoracic surgeons, and physicians treating patients with lung disease. And we see that he's brought his experience, his skill, and certainly his goodwill to bioAffinity. For me, I've spent more than 30 years in the C-suite in the medical, environmental, and energy fields. I've had the honor of leading bioAffinity from a small startup of about 3 people to a public company with talented and experienced employees at every level. They are all committed to advancing CyPath Lung and its platform. But CyPath Lung is also a personal calling. My father, who was literally a rocket scientist, who was the one to press the button to launch America's first intercontinental ballistic missile, the Atlas, who was a dedicated World War II veteran, a father of 3, and yes, a smoker, died of lung cancer at the age of 38. I am dedicated, as are the people who worked at bioAffinity Technologies, to bringing value to our shareholders by bringing diagnostics to market that help people live longer, healthier lives. It is our profession, but it is also personal. And on a personal note, I want to thank you for listening today and for learning more about our strong management team, our strong research team, our strong sales team, and all the others who are dedicated to bringing value to our shareholders. We are ready to execute on our plan in 2025 and beyond. We are ready to execute on a plan that can increase revenues, expand our market, advance new tests in our pipeline, and conduct our pivotal trial. We remain focused on bringing shareholder value by helping physicians give their patients better diagnostics so they can take advantage of more targeted, advanced care that can lead to longer, healthier lives. And with that, I thank you for attending today.
Maria, I'm just going to give the attendees a little bit more information about how to get even more information about bioAffinity. They can call us at RedChip. 1-800-REDCHIP is our number here. They can visit RedChip's investor information page for bioAffinity Technologies. It's bioAffinity.com. There you can sign up for news alerts on bioAffinity and view and download the investor presentation and fact sheet of bioAffinity. And a reminder that each one of you, by virtue of having signed up for today's webinar, also are opted in for our RedChip newsletter. You'll be receiving that once a week. I hope you enjoy that, everyone. It's free to you. Please watch Small Stocks, Big Money, RedChip's program featuring exciting small cap companies every Saturday night at 7 p.m. Eastern on Bloomberg USA. Join RedChip's next webinar with Lobo EV on Wednesday, January 8th at 4:15 p.m. U.S. Eastern. Register for all RedChip webinars at redchip.com/events, where in a few hours, you'll also be able to view an archived version of today's BIAF webinar. Thanks once again to our many participants, and as always, thank you, Maria.
Thank you.